Have you ever gone to search for something like perfect match online? It's a phrase we see absolutely everywhere, from dating shows to news headlines. But what happens when you actually follow that rabbit hole? Well, you'll find it leads to this really strange, kind of chaotic collision of worlds. Right, so you type in this super simple phrase, but the results? They are anything but simple. What you actually find is this fascinating and, let's be honest, completely chaotic reflection of our modern world, where, love, hate, and real-world emergencies are all fighting for your attention at the same time. So first up, the thing that dominates the search results is Netflix's big reality dating show, Perfect Match. And the premise? It's pretty simple. You bring together all the most famously single stars from their other hit shows, you stick them in a tropical paradise, and you just see if they can find love. But, okay, you dig just a little deeper, and you hit this whole second layer. Suddenly, you're in the middle of this sprawling, passionate, and often brutally honest fan war that's playing out across forums and podcasts. I mean, this is not just people passively watching TV. It's an entire ecosystem of debate and drama. And then, things get weird. The search results just take this completely unexpected turn, and you start seeing actual hard news. Breaking stories about severe weather, real-world emergencies happening at the exact same time as all this reality show drama. So, how on earth do all these pieces fit together? All right, let's break it down. Okay, so let's start with the show itself. Netflix is really marketing this thing as the ultimate dating show, kind of like an all-star game for reality TV singles. The cast is basically a who's who of Netflix reality veterans, and they're all specifically chosen because they bring the drama. You've got infamous role breakers like Francesca from Too Hot to Handle, guys who literally said, "I do not," at the altar like Bartiz from Love is Blind, and a bunch of other memorable personalities. The show just throws them all into a villa and waits for the chaos to erupt. And of course, the fan reaction immediately clashes with those shiny, polished Netflix intros. On places like Reddit, viewers do not hold back. This comment for about Francesca from user RoboChipmunk, it perfectly sets the tone for the entire online conversation. And yeah, the reaction to Partiz's arrival was, let's just say, just as intense. This comment from user Mouse Hates Numbers is perfect. It just captures that visceral, almost theatrical outrage that fans feel. They're not just watching, they are deeply, personally invested in hating some of these people. And this is what leads us to the bigger picture here. The show itself, it's just the center of a much, much larger universe of content. It's a full-blown ecosystem of commentary. I mean, you've got weekly recap podcasts, official insider shows from Netflix, companion content from huge outlets like TMZ. And then, of course, you have the fan hubs, subreddits with thousands and thousands of members just tearing apart every single moment. And the level of analysis gets incredibly specific. Fans aren't just talking about who won a challenge. They're deconstructing the way people talk to each other with, surgical precision. This comment about how Francesca treated Dom is a perfect example of how viewers are scrutinizing every last word and action. And this really gets at the heart of this paradoxical viewership that makes the show so successful. Like these two Reddit users put it perfectly. One person calls the show sewer scum, and the very next person chimes in, and I love it. It's this whole cycle of hate watching that powers the entire ecosystem. But beyond all the fan chatter, there's a much more critical conversation going on. Academics and critics are looking at the very structure of these shows and, well, they're identifying some pretty toxic patterns. And a lot of it centers on this key psychological concept, emotional triangulation. Basically, it's a manipulation tactic where one person brings a third person into a relationship just to create conflict and maintain control. It keeps everyone off balance and gives the manipulator all the power. Sound familiar? Okay, so check this out. This case study from another show breaks it down perfectly. You've got an established couple. A new person enters, one partner gets interested, but then lies about it to both people. And the result? One person feels totally betrayed and the new person is just used as a pawn. It's a classic, destructive pattern that gets amplified for ratings. And what's so fascinating is that the fans, even without all the academic language, they totally recognize this behavior. This comment describing Francesca as being on some Machiavelli shit just shows that viewers see the strategic manipulation loud and clear. They know it's a game and they are calling out the players. So let's pull back even further now, because the phrase perfect match isn't just stuck in the world of reality TV dating, its use actually extends into some completely unrelated, kind of surprising territories. I mean, a quick search for podcasts just shows how versatile this term is. You've got shows about finding the perfect match between music and wine, or, get this, beer and wrestling. It's used for everything from hobbies to family finances, so clearly this idea of a perfect pairing is a totally universal concept. But not everything competing for our attention is just entertainment or hobbies. Sometimes the real world breaks through in a way you just can't ignore. So, while all of this drama, all this commentary, and all this analysis was unfolding online, while fans were debating who should be paired with whom in some luxury villa, the real world was happening, and it was happening loudly and unstoppably. And boom, this headline popped up in the exact same news cycle. Hurricane Debbie, a serious Category 1 storm, was making landfall in Florida. It is such a jarring shift from manufactured drama to a life-threatening event. And make no mistake, this was not a minor event. 3,000 National Guard members were mobilized. There were warnings of dangerous storm surges and widespread flooding. This is the reality that was competing for our attention. And just to make the information landscape even more cluttered, other news breaks, completely unrelated to anything else. An NFL player suddenly retires. It's just another piece of data in this absolute fire hose of information we're all facing every single day. Which brings us all the way back to our central question. You've got reality show feuds, academic critiques, wine pairings, and natural disasters all fighting for the same space in our brains. In this chaotic flood of information, deciding what's important versus what's just noise, that isn't just a challenge, it's the defining struggle of our time. And that, right there, is the perfect match problem.